Well, I don't know about you, but I thought the kids were pretty awesome, weren't they? And I just have to thank first off, all the kids who were a part of that, but everyone who helped make that possible, all the parents, the Sunday school teachers, Taylor, everyone who played music over there. I think I saw Danny, Eddie, Susie. I don't know, Amy, were you? Yes, thank you. Thank you to everybody who made that possible. You know, it takes a lot of people to make something like that happen. And a lot of people who have worked a long time, so thank you. But what I find even more interesting when we hear this story again, we hear it every year, and we know this story so well that I think we lose sight of one thing: how many people it took to make this story possible. You know, this wonderful story of God coming and living with us as a child, as a baby. You know, Finley, imagine Jesus being, that size, so small. It took so many people to make that happen. It took so many people. And then you have this story today, our gospel story that Milton read, thank you, of Jesus, of Joseph kind of being like, well, I don't know what's going on. I can't understand this. And the angel coming and saying, just trust that this is God's plan. You know, these people who were a part of this story, this magical story that changed human history, that weren't even really sure what they were a part of at the time. But it's the most important story, most important event that ever happened to the world. And it took people. It took people. It took shepherds. Shepherds who were really kind of blue-collar people who had jobs. You know, they were watching somebody else's flock. They were getting paid by the hour. You know, just kind of the average blue-collar person as a shepherd who got to be witness to this amazing story. And then it took wise men, people who were well-educated and who had great wealth to be witnesses to this story. And of course it took a young woman, Mary, who was open to doing God's will. And it took Joseph, a young man who was confused. Why is she pregnant? How is that possible? What will others say? How can I possibly continue in this relationship? It took people to make this story happen. And as we read the story of Jesus Christ through the Gospels, we continue to see how it took people to make Jesus' movement start. And it took people after he was resurrected and ascended to start the church. And it still takes people today. We are still a part of this story. Because this story that starts with a baby born in a stable, laying on a box of hay, is still continuing. This story still continues and will continue forever, and we get to be a part of it. Like the shepherds, like the wise men. Finley, you don't even know, but today your parents made you part of the story. You are going to be a part of the story for the rest of eternity, for the rest of your life. You don't even know what your parents signed you up for. She's pretty smart. She knows. You told her last night? Okay. She agreed to it. Yesterday we had a memorial service, a celebration of life for Jim Altman, and one of our members who passed away a few weeks ago, who lived a life as a part of the story, and who now gets to be part of the greater story, the story that we're all dreaming of, the place in heaven that has been prepared for all of us, because Jesus came as a baby, and because Jesus died as a man on a cross. He felt that pain, he felt that suffering, and he went through it for Jim, and he went through it for Finley, and he went through it for all of us who are part of the story, who are called by God, just like Joseph and Mary and shepherds and wise men, to come, to bear witness to this thing that has been done, and to go and tell. Amen.